Well, welcome to another week of Rooted and Raw. All right, ladies, welcome back.
Hello.
Hey,
We're in it
welcome.
again.
Good to be here.
We're so glad to have you all with us. Let's go ahead and tell our listeners and viewers who we got with us.
Well, hi, podcast queens. My name is Flora.
This is Tam.
You got Sherita in the building.
And it is D with you. We're so excited for what we have for you this week. The funny thing is we're just excited because we don't know what we have for you because we have to pull the topic. Somebody asked us like, can you tell us ahead of time what it's going to be about? And it's like, we can't. We literally pull the topic and you learn it when we learn it. So
Yep.
before we get to that, let's do a little icebreaker.
All right.
All right, so if you could have dinner with any two Bible characters, not including Jesus, because everybody want to eat with Jesus, we know. Any other two Bible characters, who would you pick and a quick why?
I'm sorry. Y'all looking at me, so I want to make sure.
We'll give it to you.
All right. So I would definitely will love to have dinner with Mary Magdalene and Mary, Mother of Jesus.
Oh my gosh, you took my exact two.
Did I
I
really?
was gonna say
Look,
the
great
two
minds
Marys.
think alike.
That's exactly the
Mary
two I would have
squared.
picked. Okay, you go ahead and tell us why.
All right, so Mary Magdalene, I do really love her story, and she's not very known as being an apostle, being a discipleship, throughout the world. So just hearing, as a female's point of view, which back then, it wasn't a thing.
Right.
It didn't mean anything, and she legit was there from the get-go, from the beginning. So would love to hear her perspective throughout her journey, and also the things that she had gone through as well, and failing just like us. We failed. We're not perfect, and she admitted and she struggled with that. And Mary, Mother of Jesus, she is very, very dear to my heart. My mom really related a lot with her, and as a mother, seeing your son, man, it always gets me into tears because I have two boys, and just trying to put myself in her shoes. Like, how did you endure that? But also listening to the story of like how she raised him.
Yeah.
We don't really know on that. So love to hear those stories. I was like, so around what age did he start walking?
Yeah.
Did he start walking on water too?
Yeah.
Like those things. So love to hear the other side of it,
Yeah, for sure. That's good.
Me, first and foremost, would be David. I love me some David. And then when the question was asked, I first said Peter because, Peter was about that business. And I really like that. But then I was like, I would really like to sit with John as Jesus's like best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like he was number one. I think I would love to get more perspective on, the book of John is written from a place of love. And I would love to get more perspective of like how was Jesus? Like tell me in full context. I want the stories. I want, your favorite time with him. And then even like Revelation, when I first became a believer, was my favorite book because it was just filled with so much I want more context. I want more of, what did you actually see? Not like, voice of thunder and blah, blah, blah. Like I want, give me descriptors, not better descriptors, but like I want more. So yeah, David was a man after God's own heart, which I aspire to be a woman after God's own heart. So
Come on.
Amen.
I like that response. So for me, the two people that I would want to sit and have dinner with would be the woman at the well. And Esther.
Oh, nice.
And Esther. The reason is because they are, to me, two women who were chosen. Like, to be women chosen back then, women didn't have a voice. They didn't speak up. They weren't supposed to be in the in crowd. But to be that woman that Jesus spoke to, or the woman that he used to live out whatever it was that he needed to be done, whatever God needed to be done. For the woman at the well, to hear her response as to how Jesus, knowing everything about her in advance, what was her reaction?
Right.
Like, how did she react to that? And Esther being chosen to rule, the Queen Esther, like, just those roles, just they're heavy.
Legit. Mm-hmm. Well, as you heard, my original answer was Mary Magdalene and Mary, mother of Jesus. My reason for Mary Magdalene would be almost exactly the reason why you said. My reason for Jesus's mom would be a little bit different, but to keep it very different across the board, I would say, sorry, but second choice would be Ruth and Boaz together. I want to talk to them about all the things. Like first of all, Ruth and her level of loyalty. I'm about a loyal individual, right? I think that's the reason why I'm so close to you guys, is because the level of loyalty is beyond words. And so her level of loyalty, not just to him as a man, but to her mother-in-law, who she didn't have to be loyal to anymore. I just want to talk to her more about that. And so loyal that you were willing to take her advice on what to do that got you to Boaz. And then I want to talk to Boaz about why he thought it was like, what was it that made you want to say, take care of her while she's out there in the field? Like I want to know, and then I want to talk to him about, hashtag marriage goals. We don't hear what happened with their relationship afterwards, but I'd love to hear the story about what happened after they got married. So there it is. All right. That was cool.
I like that.
Cool. I like that. I was like that. Although you
good.
stole mine. I also like the Ruth and Boaz. All right. So we're going to pull our topic, and Sherita told me that it's my turn because I'm the only one that hasn't pulled the topic yet. So here we go.
Drum roll.
I know, right?
I went right off the top, too. I didn't even shake it up or nothing.
What we got?
Oof.
Uh-oh. What we got? Should we be scared?
You remember it like that? I'd have to read it.
Oh, yeah. I remember that word for word. So what would you do if the man that you love does not want to have children and you do?
Ooh.
All right, so before we get started,
Disclaimer.
Let me do a disclaimer. But before I do the disclaimer, let me do a disclaimer to disclaimer. So our other podcast member, Jaemi Serrano, who you haven't met yet, but you will soon, I promise you. Yeah. Speaking of which, shout out to Stephanie. She's awesome. She's behind the scenes doing all the things. She's like our producer, our creative person. She handles all the things that none of us want to do. Also, I'd like to give a special shout out to Alvaro. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know, Alvaro is Stephanie's husband. And this man is like her support system. So she doesn't have to set all of the podcast setting up by herself. He helps with all the things. He's coming with ideas. Actually, me and my husband had dinner with her and Alvaro last night, and he was talking, and y'all, he was talking like he was a part of this thing. So shout out to Alvaro. He is a part of this thing for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Like
okay.
it.
Sorry, sidebar, but I had already said that I wanted to give him a major shout out. But so Jaemi told me that I have to stop saying that we are not theologians because technically we are theologians because a theologian is a person who studies the Bible. Okay. And we study the Bible. We don't just, these are not just readers.
We just got done with Bible study.
We literally just finished Bible study about 30 minutes ago. So we study the Bible. We don't just read it. So I guess technically we are theologians. However, we don't have degrees of theology. That is what I should have said. So I correct myself, Jaemi. And I want to say that though we are theologians, we don't have a degree in theology. We also don't have a degree in psychology. Okay, well, I kind of do, but I don't have a license, and they don't have degrees. So we're
in that field,
right in that field anyway. So what we say is strictly from God's word and our experiences. You take that, and then you take that to God, and then you take it to the word. You should be reading the word. Speaking of which, make sure that you are looking in the comments after each podcast, because we do drop the references that we make to the Bible in at least the ones we can actually remember anyway. We drop those in the comments for every single podcast.
And leave your comments too.
Yeah, please leave comments.
Leave your feedback in there.
Ask some questions.
Yeah,
We'd
absolutely.
love to maybe say, hey, let's actually answer a question from one of our podcast listeners.
We want to hear from y'all. We really want to hear from y'all. This is not just us to y'all. This is y'all to us. This is a group thing.
That's how we're studying. So if you catch something or have a question on it, like by all means, like go ahead, ask away, put it in the comments. We will love that.
For sure. All right. So now that all of that is done, let's talk. So everybody here except for Tamara has children, to include Jaemi and Stephanie and Alvaro. I feel like I need to include him in everything now. We all have children. So I'd actually like to start with you because you don't have children yet. I'm sure we all have opinions, but I want to start with you, Tamara, as the person who doesn't have any children yet.
I don't have kids. Okay. I feel like this is a little difficult for me only because I struggle sometimes with seeing things from my own lens, my own perspective, and sometimes it's hard for me to see outside of that. So the relationship that I'm in now, Isaiah does very much want kids as much as I do. So it's hard for me to imagine what it would be like for him not to want kids and how I would feel about that. I don't know. I feel like God works in mysterious ways. He does. So I'm not going to disclude or be like, oh, this is a deal breaker. Like you don't want kids, so I'm not going to be with you kind of thing. Because I truly believe in the power of prayer. And I do believe that if that's what God intends for us and in our relationship is to have kids, I just have to pray on it. And I have to put it in God's hands for him to change my boyfriend's heart, or not my boyfriend, but my husband's heart, in order to open that up. And if it truly is that we aren't meant to have kids together, I genuinely believe that God will work on me and give me the peace that it's not for me. But at the same time, I also don't believe that by me not being able to physically have my own kids, that doesn't mean I couldn't spiritually have kids or people to bring in. For example, D and I, you know what I'm saying? D very much is my spiritual mother, has taught me a lot about God and my faith, and I value her as my spiritual mother. And that doesn't discredit my mom. You don't take the place of my mom, and never once have I ever claimed, and never have you claimed to take the place, of my mom, or even Daryl with my dad. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there are times where I'm like, okay, in this area, I do know that I do learn more things from you as my spiritual mom than I do my mom. But even then, I take that information and I help my mom grow in these areas. So that's something I would take straight to God. God, is this for me to have kids? And I know this is kind of tricky because you have kids, ideally, in this context, you have kids with your husband. So I'm guessing at that point, we would have this conversation before we get married.
Okay, so wait, pause, because now because what you're saying is I'm tracking, right? But Sherita has a very real life story of kind of what you're saying. So Sherita, you wanna
let's jump in here. This is rooted and raw. Okay,
come on.
So let me start by saying,
because she about to be raw.
Yeah, let me start by saying my past does not make me.
Okay,
I am not my past.
Amen.
But my past has brought me on a journey to who I am becoming, and I'm learning from the past. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so here goes. I actually have children by someone who did not want children. So I have had the story of, I don't want kids. I don't want no kids. I ain't never want no kids. But you didn't do anything to stop from having children.
Oh, okay. Yep, we know what she means.
So, you know, I have 5 children. As I said in the first podcast, I have 5 beautiful children. And I have always, since I was a kid, wanted children. I wanted about 12. But, you know, God blessed me with 5.
12 is crazy.
12 is crazy.
Yeah, she wanted more than that.
Especially today. 12 is crazy. But, you know, I do not regret, nor do I count any of my children a mistake. So I thank God for the blessings that I have. But it's like, well, there's no but. It's like, you know, to be with someone who doesn't want if you don't want children, you can do whatever it is you need to do. If you need to snip it, clip it, you know, do whatever it is you need to do to keep from having children. But I honestly believe wholeheartedly, if God wants them here,
period,
they are going to be here.
Yeah.
Right.
Prepare yourself mentally and physically, because they're coming. They're going to be here regardless.
Right.
So,
well, can you tell us about so there's one specific story I'm thinking of where you prayed, and I said this because Tamara said prayer works.
It
right?
does.
So
shout out to my daughter's father, Dorian.
Not the shout out to my baby.
Yes. So, well, we are definitely the best of friends now. That I can say that
that's a blessing, right?
Right.
Amen.
We are the best of friends. But we went through a point in our marriage where this man was adamant. He did not want children. Told me he would snip it, clip it, take it all away. He was not having kids, and I was adamant in my faith. And I prayed.
Pause.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that?
She
wasn't adamant in what she wanted, right? She was adamant in her faith.
I
rooted.
I had faith, and I prayed for my daughter. I prayed for how I wanted her to look, and I prayed like in details, because I had faith that regardless of whatever the enemy was trying to bring my way, whatever doors he thought he was going to shut, he couldn't shut them, because my God was real. Now, I'm not saying that God is going to give me a child regardless of whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I had faith. We were going through something. He did not want children. We were angry with each other. We were arguing. We were fussing. And my daughter, when she was born, she came out exactly like I prayed. She stands the height of her father with eyes of her mother. And I promise you, to this day, I tell her she looks just like her grandmother, which is his mom. But she is the details of how I prayed for her. And
that's awesome.
You know, regardless of, and to this day, him and his daughter, because that is his first daughter, they are like white on rice. You cannot separate them. They love each other wholeheartedly. So yes, I have dealt with that.
So now I want to take a couple of things from what you guys have both said. I'm coming to you next, but I want to, because you haven't experienced this. I mean, you was married pretty early, right?
Yeah.
But I want to take a couple of things specifically from what they said to point out to our listeners. So Tamara was clear. She doesn't have kids. She's not married. She's in a relationship, and both her and her boyfriend both want children equally. Like they feel the same about it, right? There's other context to that, yes. But then you look at Sherita. Sherita was already married when she was having those complications, those issues between her and her husband. So it wasn't her as a woman who's in a relationship with a man.
Right. They're
not married, and she telling him she want kids, and then she like, well, God said he gonna give them to me, so I'm just gonna pray that you get over yourself. like it wasn't one of those. They're already married. Okay. So my caveat to that is, I don't know what the situation that led up. She said, they had been going through some things, but now my thought process is this question has a lot to do with the kind of people who you are in a relationship, not married, and you want kids and your spouse. So this could go either way, because there are men who want kids and women who don't. So let's not make this as if it's only one way or another, right? But you're in a relationship, your spouse, you're in a relation, you want kids and your spouse doesn't, or vice versa. And you're not married yet. You're not locked in. Tamara made a statement where she said it's not a deal breaker
to me
for her.
Right.
But for those of you out there who it is a deal breaker for, and you're not in a marriage, because again, I go back to Sherita, it was a deal breaker for her, but she was already married. If you are not married and it is a deal breaker for you, then it should be just that. It's kind of like, hey,
choose wisely.
It's kind of like, for all of us, I can say I'm the only one of us that is currently like full on married, right? It's a deal breaker if the person you meet is not a believer.
Right.
Is that a hard?
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
Agreed.
Tracking. We all on the same page. So then, for some women, it would be a deal breaker like that.
Right.
So then my question be, why would you continue to go forward?
Right. Would you?
Ooh, because
come on, so that's a question y'all can answer. Would you continue knowing that you want to be with this person, male or female, your guy or girl? You want to be with this girl, she does not want children, or you want to be with this guy, but he doesn't want children. Would you continue in the relationship if you still want children? So put it down in the comments. We want to see what y'all got to say. All right.
So Flora, what's your thoughts on this?
So my thoughts on it, because let's keeping it raw, right? A lot of females, they do think or believe like, I can change him.
There it is.
That's the big thing. I can change him. And I think it's very important to have that real conversation of how life is going to be prior to making that commitment.
That's good.
So that's something that me and my ex did. Like we were young. We did get married at 18. And we were very strong in our faith. And we did even talked about it with our priest in regards to that. And we actually got into it because he was one that he didn't want to have kids. But the reason was because he can't tolerate the tantrums that they be throwing out there. That's the only reason why. So I was like, okay, so you would, as long as they don't do that. And let's be real,
they ain't gonna do that.
They ain't gonna do that. So that's the only reason why it's like, okay, just putting things in perspective.
Yeah.
You would be okay just as long they didn't do that. All right. So we do have two boys, but that concept right there of I can change him, Or if you can't change them now, you're not going to change them in the future.
You can't change them
at all. And real quick, that goes back to what I was speaking about when I said I believe in the power of prayer, because God is the one that changes.
Yeah,
I never once implied that simple fact, because I know that it's not my job to change anybody.
Exactly.
And if it's in God's will that we are not supposed to have kids, then God will change my heart and give me kids in a different context. You know what I'm saying? That'll still fulfill that desire of me being able to mother people, or not mother, but like have that motherly role. It might not just be my biological children, which is okay. And if it is in his will for us to have kids, God will change him, you know what I'm saying, to give him the desire to have kids. So I think that is a very important perspective that we as women need to learn. You can't change a man. You can't raise a man. Ain't that how that song goes? You can't raise a man.
Went there. You can't raise.
But that's the thing. Like, and you don't want to go into the relation, lock it down, and then have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You're already putting yourself into that heartbreak. Like, girl, you already knew beforehand. He never lied to you about it.
Right.
So you're putting yourself into that situation. What do you think the consequence is going to be when now you really want to have one, or it's that time where like, oh my gosh, I'm getting older. Like, no, you need to know before you lock it down. And it's not just in the perspective of having kids. I mean, there's other serious things too that needs to be discussed, but definitely we need to not get into that mindset like I can change them. That's what you have to pray for it.
And you need to realize, if they told you before, don't wait around for them to possibly change their mind.
Right.
If they said, don't try to wait for the expectations to change for you, because that it's not going to happen. If they told you from the get-go, you better listen. Listen to what they're telling you.
When they tell you who they are, you better believe them.
You better believe them.
Yeah.
You better believe them.
And stop wasting your time. Go find yourself your true man.
Yeah, somebody who really wants that. Well, yeah, not find, but like I mean, even but even because again, we talking. This could be a man, because I've heard stories where the man is the one that wants the children. And the woman is like adamant, like she's like, I got my career, I'm living my best life.
I don't want to go through the changes with my body.
Yep, for sure.
And even then, I know of someone who, that his girlfriend can't have kids, and he wants more kids, and it was really hard for him to deal with that. But at the same time, like, the girl is so good for him, is really good for him. She just physically can't have kids. That's not her fault. Right. And again, that doesn't mean that there isn't adoption. That doesn't mean that you won't be gifted, like I keep saying, with spiritual kids. And the reason why I keep bringing that up is because in my experience of, meeting Dee, meeting Sabrina, meeting you two, meeting Steph, meeting Jaemi, and having spiritual family, like, I have been able to grow in a magnitude of ways, or whatever, however you want to say that, in such a short period of time. You guys have only known me, maybe 2 years, what I'm saying?
And it's pretty short.
And, even Shailene, like, the influence that you guys have had on my life, it's not, you guys aren't my blood family, but I wouldn't trade you guys for the world. You know what I'm saying? So just because, and so I'm not saying to compromise, or not compromise, but to settle, because like, oh, he doesn't want kids. I like how you brought it back to the perspective of, this is a question that should be brought up in a dating scenario. Like, you know what I'm saying? These are conversations that Isaiah and I have already had, even going through premarital counseling, like, hey, having those hard conversations and getting them out now, because like you guys said, it might be a deal breaker for you. And if it is a deal breaker, like, I really appreciate you guys said that. Don't settle just because you really want to be with this person, because like Sherita said, later on down the line, if it's that big of a deal for you, like, it's going to cause more problems, more hurt, more pain, when you have more emotions and more feelings invested than if you rip the Band-Aid.
And we've said it in the other podcasts, like, when you're dating, You're not just dating, you're dating to marry.
Yeah, you should be anyway.
Asking all the questions.
So why not ask these questions as far as what you are wanting? Because not a lot of people, can read minds. You have to express those. You have to say that. That's part of the communication in any kind of relationship. Don't be assuming. So yeah, these are questions like, when you first get to know each other, okay, the likes, hey, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food?
So adorable.
Right?
I love that.
But then, if the relationship's going, like, hey, it has to come up. And don't be scared to say that. Doesn't matter, female, male. Like, if it's important to you, you need to. And it comes back into the faith, too, if you are.
So then I got a question, ladies, with that. And you said it first. You brought up deal breaker first. So then my question is, what are some deal breakers? What are some deal breakers? So we all already have admitted that hands down, without a shadow of a doubt. And you can't just believe in Jesus. You got to be walking with him.
Right? Yeah, you need to be practicing it.
Yeah, you got to be walking it out. You can't just say, I believe in Jesus, because then I'm going to hit you with a so did the devil. But, here we are. Like, I'm good with all that. But, like, not just that. What are some other deal breakers for you? Because you ladies are single. Well,
don't be lying. That's a big one for me.
Said, don't
lie.
The truth. Lie about the little stuff.
Then you're gonna lie about the big stuff. That is right there. Don't lie. Lying for me, it's a huge thing for me. Doesn't matter how big, how small. Because why? Why are you wasting your time on that? Not only you're wasting your time, but you're wasting my time.
Yeah, period.
And my time is very precious. I don't give it just to anybody. I'm busy as it is.
Yeah.
But don't be lying. Just tell me how it is. I'm a big girl.
We communicate well. So just know how to talk. We can communicate. You don't have to lie.
Yeah, don't be coming up with acronyms to me either. Don't be coming out with me with like LL, DBM, all this.
In text messages, you mean?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I am younger though. I throw those in to see
little ones here, but don't be having a conversation with me with a bunch of acronyms. I'm just
especially my emojis. I love me some.
Please do not try to have an emoji conversation with me.
Oh my god!
No, we're going back to hieroglyphics and stuff here. But but in a relationship, it's no time for I've been there, done that. I don't have time. You want to keep it real with me? Don't lie. Doesn't matter how big, how small.
That's good.
Just say it.
What you got?
All right, this might be a little controversial, but this is for me and not for everybody else. If however you want to take it.
If you getting beat up by,
hey, look, that's a topic for another day.
Okay,
Come back for next week's episode. No, so for me is what is your work ethic like? And I say that I'm too old. Do you have a job?
Do you have a job?
Do you have a job? Do you have your own money? Do you have a car? How do you get around? Okay? Because I'm too old to play chauffeur for a grown behind man.
She's preaching.
Okay? And I'm sorry, I feel my heart beating real fast. So I'm trying to like, ooh.
Reel it in, Tamara.
No. Do you have a car? Do you have a job? Okay, so this comes from my mom, right? I have an older brother. And my mom used to tell him all the time, or my mom or my uncle, one of the two. I used to tell my brother all the time, like when he was in high school and like, hey, Mom, I want to take this girl to the movies and you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. But he ain't had no car. He ain't had no job. So my mom would be like, if I'm paying for the movies for y'all to go, if I'm having to take y'all, blah, blah, that's not your girlfriend. That's my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So
shout out to Tamara's mom.
Look.
Because you want that partnership. Like, what you got to contribute? Like, I'm contributing more than what you bringing in.
That's what I'm saying. And I want a man that will lead. I want to be able to follow. I want to be able to submit. You're supposed to be provider of the household. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying nothing to the women who are the breadwinners or make a little more money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it be like that. But at the same time, for me and mine, do you have a job? Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills?
Girl, shut up.
What's your color? What's your favorite food? What do you do for your occupation?
Right. And it don't got to be like how much money you make. You know, for me, it's not that necessarily, but if I want to go eat, because you know me, I love to eat. So if I want to go eat, I don't want to have to be the one fronting the bill
every time. Come on.
What?
and unlike some people, I like the Cheesecake Factory. I'm just saying.
Period.
I'm just saying.
Wait, who don't like the Cheesecake Factory?
Oh, girl, it's a whole video. It's another story for another day.
Girl.
So, anyways, before I could keep going on that,
Yeah.
You know what you got, Sherita?
For me, all of that plus keep your hands to yourself.
Lord,
if
have
you
mercy.
out here putting your hands on somebody, stay away from me. I do not like men who beat women. I don't like women who beat men, because that's a thing too.
It is a thing.
That is a thing.
Yep.
It is a thing.
If you need to put your hands on something, they got rage rooms for that stuff.
Okay.
Go to the rage room.
Punching
release
bags.
It. Come on. They have.
Boxing.
You have access to things. Not me.
go to therapy.
You know?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Lay on the
No,
couch.
for real.
There's nothing wrong with
But
it.
go
Lay
to
on the
therapy,
couch. Talk
'cause
to
that
somebody.
came from somewhere.
Hey,
Go in the closet.
shout out
Pray about
Jaemi.
it.
Hey, girl. Sorry.
Screaming to
I'm
a
just
pillow.
saying, yeah.
You're going old school. Like
You have
something.
access to things. Keep your hands to yourself. I want you to treat me the way you want me to treat you. If you don't want me to put my hands on you, don't put your hands on me. I stay strapped, just so you know. Amen.
Rooted
Amen.
and raw.
And raw. I do.
Period.
That license is real.
Okay. Come on, sis.
That's the license she does have.
Yes.
Okay. She said, I might not have
Yeah, no.
some clinical license.
Like, hey.
But I got that metal. No.
Isaiah calls it the wireless hole puncher.
There you go. There you go.
Shout out to Isaiah. Okay, so mine's is going to sound real petty.
No, there's no such thing.
Because y'all named like some of the basics. Loyalty is one.
Oh, yeah.
But let me
Yeah.
tell you, it's hard because I feel like if you are walking out a life with Jesus, like actually walking it out, a lot of these things are going to be automatic. Like it should be.
Should be.
But that's if you're actually walking out. That's if you're in your word every day. That's if you're those kind of things.
In
Yeah.
relationship.
Right. This is one that, the Bible don't call you to be this one. So this one's specifically for me.
What you got?
And I can say this because I'm married and my husband very much is. If you boring, if you can't make me laugh,
Oh, okay.
Oh, got you.
if you can't make me laugh, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Y'all know I love to laugh. What is a life?
I thought you were trying to say Daryl Bourne.
No. Girl, you.
no, he
I
ain't.
know. That's
Oh,
what I'm
God.
saying. What are we talking
A
about?
comedian.
I love
He
hearing
is
his
a straight
stories.
up
Yes.
of the Lord Jesus.
Comedian.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't make me laugh, then we ain't got nothing to talk about.
Right.
Like, we should be, our stomach should be hurting on a regular basis because we are laughing at something. And it's not like you got to be a comedian, but it's that not taking everything so seriously.
Yeah.
Like, there is enough
That
serious
relief.
things in the world that we covered on. We don't have to be. And so my husband he don't get paid to be a comedian. I think he might have made some money if he'd have tried it because the dude is funny. But that's always been something for me. I have broken up with some people because I wasn't laughing enough. That might sound petty, but it's just one of those things that I think about. I'm going through the rest of my life with you, and I love to laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you ain't making me laugh, what are we talking about?
Right.
So I want to throw another one in there.
Go for it.
So if we go into the ones that, shouldn't matter so much, I guess, if that's what you want to say. If this is your life.
Ooh,
Now I know Tam
is a gamer.
likes gaming.
No, for some people that's a thing.
Yeah, I know
That's a
Tam
thing,
likes
and
gaming.
they met and keep doing it. But yeah,
But for me, if this is all you do all day, glued to this,
That's because they ain't got no job. Which
oh
is back to what Tamara
my
said.
gosh! Listen, I have sons who game, and their behinds are like glued to either their bed or their gaming chair, which means they not washing their behind. They not brushing
If I
their
walk in your
teeth.
room and it smell like grata,
Yes, we got a problem. I need you. Gratata. Listen, I need you to get
You know
up.
it when you smell it. You know it when you smell it.
I need you to bathe yourself.
Funk.
Right. Bathe yourself, brush your teeth, come out and eat, see some sunlight. Gaming, listen.
Also, bro, we in our 40s over here. So if you in your 40s and you ain't doing no but gaming and ain't making no money from it, because I'm saying, like, if there's some gamers out there that are ballers, making money from
it. Seen it from my 14-year-old.
I can get behind it if it's making you coins, and I'm talking about real coins, not like that petty cash. But if you in your 40s and you gaming all day and you ain't making no money from it, what we talking about?
And I will say this: I am a Street Fighter, Tekken. Give me some Mortal Kombat, DC versus Marvel. I can play those with you. But if that is all you doing all day long, we have a problem. No, we don't. We don't have no problem because I wouldn't. That's right. I wouldn't be with them. That's right.
I have a question. I really want to know, Steph. What is a deal breaker?
Yeah, no, for real.
Sorry, okay, just in case you can't hear her, she said laughing is a really big thing for her. Yeah. Which Steph does love to laugh.
Yeah, and she laughs easy, so she's
right. So if you can't make Steph laugh, that's crazy. That's crazy. She's over here cracking up at us behind the camera. But yeah, no, that's
hilarious.
I love that.
All right, y'all. Well, we on our speed round. Last minute thoughts. Anything you want to say in regards to our topic? Go. Starting with you, Flora.
All right. Don't commit into a relationship until you know that person inside and out.
Mm-hmm. That's good. For me, I would say in this context, if it is that important to you, if it is a really big deal breaker, then don't be afraid to rip the Band-Aid before you get into committed, serious relationship. Have these conversations early. And if it's not as pressing in the beginning, pray about it. You know what I'm saying? God will either change your heart or change his heart if you guys are supposed to be together. But if you have the conversation early and it don't feel right, girl, leave that man. I'm sorry.
Period.
Yeah, leave that man.
Yeah.
So me personally, I'm a communicator. I believe that people should learn how to communicate right. Fight fair. Fight right. Pray about it. Talk about it. If you can't sit and talk and have a conversation, you might want to reevaluate some things. You might want to take a pause, breathe, take in some fresh air.
That's good.
Think. Your thought process is big, so use your brain wisely.
Yeah, it's good. I think my final thought is, ladies and gentlemen, know your deal breakers. Go into every relationship, not just with a spouse, honestly, with your friendships.
Absolutely.
Know your deal breakers. I believe that if you know your deal breakers from the jump, you won't settle for things that are not going to be conducive for a life that you want to live.
That's good.
Period. Remarks complete. Sorry. Military. All right. So, thanks, ladies. Again, awesome conversation.
Yeah.
That was an interesting topic. I think we have some really good women for that. So just a few last minute things. Thank you again for joining us. We are so grateful that we have so many of you listening. Like Sherita said earlier, drop comments, ask questions. We want to hear from you. Like Flora said, we want to have those conversations. Please subscribe to whatever platform you listen to. We're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, and we are on Spotify, where you can actually watch and listen as well. We're also on TikTok. We have our TikTok at Rooted and Raw Podcast, and our Instagram is Rooted and Raw 25. So join us on those. We don't have a Facebook yet. Come into a Facebook near you. Yep, that's it. Thank you again. Until next time, stay rooted, stay raw.
All right.